Aristotle also created the Greek tradition of dialectics. So this relates to a logical argument where you have a thesis, and then Plato will have an antithesis, and then at the end of the day they'll argue about it and have a synthesis. So this ancient tradition of Greek dialectics, you posit something. You say the Earth moves around the sun, or the sun, goes around the Earth, and then someone else will counter that, and then after they talk about it, then what you're left with is synthesis. And this is basically Act 1, where you're setting something up. You're setting up the main arguments, the main characters. So if you think about this logical way of reasoning, it relates to story structure, where you have a setup, then you have the battle in the middle, and then you have the conclusion. And Act 2 in a screenplay is longer than Act 1 and Act 3. It's twice as long as Act 1, it's twice as long as Act 3. That's because this is where the majority of the struggle happens. It takes a long time to argue a point. You can't just have a thesis and then an antithesis and then have the answer. It takes a lot of struggle and figuring out, and that's what the whole Act 2 of a screenplay is all about. It seems overly simplistic, but this concept of beginning, middle, and end permeates storytelling, every aspect of storytelling, where the screenplay has a beginning, and the screenplay has a middle, the screenplay has an end. But if you just look at the beginning portion of a screenplay, that also has a beginning, middle, and end. And the middle has a beginning, middle, and end. And the ending has a beginning, middle, and end. And there are certain emotions that are felt here, so that people feel like the beginning is coming to an end, and then the middle is coming to a beginning. It's just the most simple and easy concept, but people often forget that, let's say you're transitioning from one act to the next, that people want to feel something, and there are certain scenes that most stories have, most films have, where you blast away from your home planet, or you get in the car and you show a shot of them on the road and you play a little music. That means we're leaving the beginning and getting into the middle. This is my favorite sentence right here. This is story in a nutshell. These 4 words: this, but that, therefore. Thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. You have a character, oh, but this bad thing happened. Therefore, what? Therefore, she is going to do something about it, which creates a new this. It creates a new situation, but then there's this problem. Therefore, she has to do something else. So this is Act 1, this is Act 2, this is Act 3. This is also the beginning of a scene, the middle of a scene, the end of a scene. It's scalable. It goes as large as the whole story and is as small as a certain scene. This is the basic building block of storytelling. I'm now going to show you the general structure of a modern film, and I'll talk a little bit about the beginning and middle and the end of the beginning. It'll make more sense when you see the diagram.